بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين اللهم انصر أولياءك في مشارق الأرض ومغارب اللهم انصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم إنك على كل شيء قدير اللهم فرج عنا وعن إخواننا في مشارق الأرض ومغارب بها اللهم نفس كربنا وكربنا وثبت أقدامنا وأقدامنا والطف بنا وبهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب. Okay, richtig. Philosophy. Thomasius' philosophy is decidedly not a systematic philosopher. Instead, and quite consistent with his nature, his mature distaste for dogmatism in all its forms he is best characterized as a conscientiously eclectic thinker, so implying that systematization is some sort of a dogmatism. I mean, I think generally the word dogmatism is always used. I mean, firstly, you shouldn't use it, because every so-called anti-dogmatist has his own dogmas, but it's a very context-sensitive word. But I'm not sure how being anti-systematic is anti-dogmatic necessarily. Maybe because in order to systemize, you have to take many things for granted for which you don't have enough evidence. Maybe that's what the person who is writing this entry, I'm not sure this, it looks like the woman, but I'm not sure. We'll just have a look. Anyway, it looks like the two people who have written this entry. They both seem to be women. So, that said, Thomasius's thought is unified by an overarching conviction in the priority of practical life. What is practical life? I guess in contrast to theoretical life, even though he's based in university, he's writing about practical life. I mean, the whole distinction between theoretical life and practical life is a bit overblown, because if you are a philosopher, theoretical life is your practical life, isn't it? But maybe they are talking about something else. So Thomas's thought is unified by an overarching conviction in the priority of practical life, and the belief that erudition in whatever sphere of knowledge should be pursued for the sake of the improvement of our will. So that's actually near to pietism and Kant here, with the emphasis on will in practical life, and intellect for use in ordinary life, utilitarian, not necessarily utilitarian in the official sense, but in generally That said, Thomas's thought is unified by where is it gone? Thomas's thought is unified by an overarching conviction in the priority of practical life and the belief that erudition in whatever sphere of knowledge should be pursued for the sake of improvement of our will and intellect for use in our ordinary life. This is made clear, for instance, in the definition of learnedness, Gelahrheit, that Thomasius provides at the outset of his introduction to the doctrine of reason. Doctrine of reason. That also reminds of Kant's use of doctrine of elements, for example, the doctrine of method. Okie dokie. Is it in? I wonder whether this is available in English. It doesn't look like any of his writings are translated into English except for, well, not this one anyway. It's only available in German. Introduction to the Doctrine. Oh, apparently some of the extracts from this work is translated in the authors of this entry in their book Early Modern German Philosophy, 1619 and 1750, is available in the bibliography. Published by Oxford University Press, and it includes extracts from Christian Thomasius, Wolf, Lange, Crusius, and Meyer, George Friedrich Meyer, among others. And also another book by Schneewind, Moral Philosophy from Montaigne to Kant, include extract from the works of Christian Wolff and Christian Augustus Crusius. Okie dokie, let's read this. Okay, so learnedness is knowledge through which the human being is made capable of properly distinguishing the true from the false, the good from the bad. So he needs to be taught. It's not innate. In order that, or even if it is innate, it needs to be transferred or transformed from potential to the actual. In order that one might promote one's own temporal and lasting welfare. Temporal. So this worldliness is important here. And lasting in this world, I guess. And that of others, so promote one's own temporal and lasting welfare and the others in ordinary life and affairs. So that's the purpose of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is not salvation. The purpose of knowledge is welfare. So in that sense, it's thoroughly utilitarian, this worldly philosophy. Even so in tune with Kantian philosophy, I guess. At least in tune with Kant's the spirit of Kant's philosophy in this respect, and enlightenment in general. Significantly, and unlike subsequent Enlightenment thinker, Thomasius is also explicit in only that because the attainment of learnedness is possible wholly through the use of natural rather than supernatural, that is, revelation. You learn what is true or false or good and bad through reason, natural reason, not through reason aided by the divine light. So the light of mind is sufficient, and that's Kant's view as well. So it is accessible by all, regardless of gender or class. In theory, I guess, because potential has to be transformed into actual, and some might be so lowly in this regard that they might not ever be able to do that. For example, the blacks and the non-European races. In light of this, the aim of logic for Thomasius is to cultivate power of mind. Logic, power of mind. That's why early Protestants or Anglicans in North America, they try to teach logic to the Red Indians, the Native Americans. And they even wrote books in Indian languages. But when they supposedly were failed in transforming them, then they start killing them, and participated in the genocide wholeheartedly. Philosophers and Kantians and Lockeans and Protestants did this wholeheartedly in America, for example. In light of this paragraph, I guess, the aim of logic for Thomas is to cultivate, and the faculty of reason in particular, so that we are capable of discerning what the natural light of mind reveals to be true or false in any field to which it is applied. Any field. The reason must guide. And by reason, I mean natural reason, not reason so aided by divine light. No, natural reason. And that's the enlightenment and Kantian doctrine as well. The reason in the religion in the bound of reason. This involves not just supplying positive guidance with respect to how truth might be recognized and attained, but also negatively identifying and dispelling prejudice that obscure the natural light, which is so you must purge all religion of their claim that the guidance of divine light is essential. So you have to attack all those religions. So only those religions would be allowed which accept subservience to so-called natural light or darkness, depending on how you see it. Thomasius' logic, therefore, is not primarily intended to offer a theory of demonstration as with scholastic logics. It's a tool to fight, nor an organon for specific scientific discovery as with Cartesian logic or later with Wolff's logic. So its aim is to first discredit religion and so-called obscure and prejudice and dogmatic forces, and then apply reason in all your life. But how you will apply those reasons, that is practical matter, not a matter of method, I guess. So no departure from a Descartes or Wolff, but just a different take on the same problem and the same same problem and the same idea, I guess. This distinctive aim does not, however, prevent him from weighing in on matters of traditional logic and epistemological import. For instance, he contends that thought has to do with images ultimately. Thought has to do with images. Has to do with images ultimately. Thought has to do with the images ultimately derived from external senses, thereby rejecting innate ideas, so in that sense is a Lockean and not a Leibnizian. And he outlined a theory of demonstration that focuses on preserving conviction in truths through their connection to incontrovertible first principle. That is sort of method. In this aspect, seems similar to Descartes, but obviously can't say much just based on these. Okay, keep reading. Limit. Okay. Thomas's application of the doctrine of reason contributes to the project initiated in the introduction. Oh, application of doctrine of reason is a different work, I guess. The doctrine of reason, introduction by outlining the means of avoiding error. You avoid errors. In avoiding error involves the eradication of prejudice. So you rely only on your own reason and not on religion and other sources, I guess, which are among the causes of the corruption of reason. So divine light corrupts reason, according to him. Even the diluted form of Protestantism, which was wholly aligned with this worldly forces of the German principalities, wasn't acceptable, which are grouped into two groups, namely the prejudices of authority and the precipitancy or hastiness. So hastiness, so you have to take your time, and authority, and by authority probably it means religious authorities and maybe temporal authorities as well. That in turn is accomplished through, but this question is never addressed, that once you reject one authority, you are by definition going to establish new authorities. There's no such thing as authorityless environment. So that in turn is accomplished through what he identified as dogmatic doubt, not the Cartesian doubt. So what's the difference between dogmatic doubt and Cartesian doubt? That deems everything false so as to find a first indubitable principle, which is a pointless enterprise. So that's Cartesian doubt. According to Thomasius, dogmatic doubt is a doubt about particular things, beliefs, opinions, and this he found healthy and conducive to preventing error. So the difference between dogmatic doubt is and Cartesian doubt is that in Cartesian doubt, you doubt everything until you can't doubt anymore. And in effect, Descartes is looking for absolute certitude. But Thomasius's dogmatic doubt seemed to be a particularistic, specific doubt. And so you doubt specific beliefs, particular things, opinions, which you find objectionable. And yeah, so you doubt when you need to doubt rather than. So you work from within rather than from without. Okay, so this is sort of immanent doubt rather than the transcendent doubt of Cartesian, transcendent doubt of Descartes. In any case, the centerpieces of Thomas's logic and probably the most influential aspect is his theory of truth. Okay, let's do with his theory of truth next time, inshallah. Subhanakallah. وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصل وسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.